My name is Elaine Dahl, and I live in Spofford, New Hampshire. And I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2016.
I'm Ann Henderson. I'm 65 years old. I was diagnosed with DCIS, ductal carcinoma in situ, when I was 36 years old.
My name is Marion LeFrancois. I'm from Keene, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2011.
I'm Jean Hoffman. I'm from Sullivan, New Hampshire. I was diagnosed with cancer in December of 1994 when I was 60 years old.
My name is Rachel Richardson. I'm 35 years old. I live in Sullivan, New Hampshire, and I was diagnosed on April 7th of this year, 2022, with 2 forms of breast cancer.
By getting lesions found early before they have a chance to advance, less invasive techniques can be used to try to cure people of the breast cancer in very high percentages. So it's certainly to the community's advantage to have that happen as often as it possibly can.
The benefits for 3D mammography include reduce the rates of callbacks that happens quite often with 2D mammography. It reduces stress, anxiety for the patients taking time off to come back for another mammography, and reduce the rate of false positives. It also has the ability to take sharper images and detect cancer or any abnormality in the breast at a much earlier stage.
I can't tell you what it's like to have somebody look you in the eye and say, you have cancer. I don't care what kind it is. Mine happened to be breast cancer, but it's a shock. I look at my story as a cautionary tale for women because of the fact that I was one of those women who the last thing I ever expected was to be diagnosed with breast cancer.
It's an experience you don't expect, and when it comes, you accept it and you do what you can. But to have someone like Dr. Lorman, who was just amazing, I ended up having 2 surgeries because they couldn't get clear edges.
It was fortunately a very small tumor. It was 5 millimeters, and that's the size of this little pearl. Despite the image not being as sharp as it might be, somebody spotted it. So I had a lumpectomy and I had radiation. It was an early detection. At this point, I'm 11 and a half years out, and I'm fine.
In terms of my diagnosis, I was quite young. I was actually still nursing my youngest daughter, Annie, who was 2 at the time. I, of course, was quite shocked because I was so young, relatively healthy, no cancer, no history of cancer, nursing and having nursed 4 children, trying to sort of sort all that out and figure out what is this disease that I have, and being frightened to get this diagnosis.
One of the things I say about it a lot, about my whole experience with this, is that cancer feels really lonely because it's happening to me and I'm the only one feeling it, but I'm not alone. I have the most tremendous support system, from coworkers to family to friends. I'm incredibly blessed with the love that I have, but it hasn't made this journey easy most of the time.
So I've lived here for nearly 40 years, and I have always had medical care at Cheshire Med. I grew up in Connecticut. My parents were still there. Both of them became ill, various things. And dealing with the medical situation there opened my eyes to how lucky I am. I am so lucky. I would not want to have to go to 5 different locations, 5 disjointed physicians, to have them have to hear my story, possibly misunderstand it, and make wrong decisions about my health care.
My husband's sister had breast cancer 20 years before I did, and she died. Had I not had access to the equipment I had, that could have been my story. And thanks to the equipment and the doctors, it was not. I'm here, I'm 76, and I'm thriving.
The oncology department, when we first moved here, was quite small. It was just Steve. And to think of it as really a regional oncology department is really a tribute to a lot of work. I think it's a very, very special group of people, a very special atmosphere of caring and loving and never giving up. And I think we have that there.
5 years ago, if I was diagnosed with the kind of cancer that I have, I would have a very poor prognosis because they didn't have the chemotherapy regimen in place to treat my cancer. So now, 5 years later, I get my life back because of science and because of technology. And so I think it's so exciting that Cheshire has the opportunity to bring a new machine in and to bring new technology in.
Cheshire Medical Center does more than 7,000 mammographies a year, and our equipment is now 7 years old. So it is about the time that we need a new technology, and we have a better technology to offer to our patients, so this will be a great addition. We do know that 1 in 8 women in the US will be diagnosed with breast cancer, which is an alarming statistics. New Hampshire does have one of the highest breast cancer rates in the country.
Cancer is a word that we all understand. Breast cancer is a journey that I'm currently going through. I hope you'll join me in donating towards the 3D mammography machine that Cheshire Medical is looking to buy.